Hello and welcome to Wandering Monster, America's Stress Table. We have a special guest with us. Before we introduce ourselves, we should say that John Baltersberger, our normal co-host, has been blessed by Papa Nurgle himself
hmm
and is not joining us today. But in his stead, we have a fantastic player from another podcast who is joining us today. Would you like to introduce yourself, or should I put you in the hot seat?
It sounds like it's the same thing.
Basically, it is. Surprise!
Haha! It's me, Jenny.
That's Jenny. I'm Ian Servas.
I'm Charles R. Bernard.
I'm Mr. Paschke.
And friends, it is good to be back here. Yeah, it's only been a week, but we miss you each and every single week. So thank you for tuning in and to our fireside chats and spending some quality time with us. A lot of us are busy in the TTRPG community with Zine Quest wrapping up campaigns. There's been a lot of fantastic campaigns out there. If you have your eye on some that are in those last final days, help out another creator and make a pledge, and it will make someone's day. But not putting in plugs here yet because we like to save it for the end. What we're here to play today is 3 Die 6. This is a game that John has been wanting to play for several months, so he sends all of his love and apologies that he is currently dying of the plague at the moment, and he wishes that he could be here. This was actually a previous game from last year's Kickstarter Blitz, and is a fantastic and whimsical game where players are playing as strange bug, human, alien, hybrid things in a subterranean world that is covered in the shimmer or a bioluminescence algae moss thing that may or may not have a life force of its own. So if you like things about like games like Hollow Knight and other bug-centric games that put you as a squishy little bug thing in a world full of terrible dangers and horrible things, then this is the game for you. The nice thing about this book, either in its core large expanded version or as the tight-knit zine, is that it also comes with solo rules. So if you don't have friends, you can still play it for yourself.
That's right.
Yeah, wow.
It's worked for me my whole life. I'm going to stick with it.
See, now you get to play with us. So definitely a fun and fantastic game for us to be playing this evening. Now, since I'm the one who's been doing the talking all this time, and I'm about to be the person that does all the talking about the game, any fun announcements or anecdotes or quips from the peanut gallery?
I will just reiterate that John, if he could drag himself to his computer through the like seeping ooze that has encapsulated him from head to toe, and like his rotting skull-like head could somehow face the camera, he would be here because he dearly loves this game. And we might have to run it and relive it for him. So we're sad that he can't be here. But we're stoked to play the game.
Absolutely. An intro is not the same without John's anecdotes. And it's when you're in the seat that you realize just how the value add that comes with that. So, that being said, why don't we transition on over into the game room and then we'll do a rundown of the game. So what makes this game much more interesting than some of the other ones we've played is that each player is not just one player, but really three in a way. All the characters are playing as a hive mind of three brains crammed together into an exoskeleton or a chitinous framework, if you will. The players themselves are basically like goo, and they form and shape themselves depending on which brain is piloting the body at the moment. At any time, one of these players can shift into one of their three brains and gain the abilities of that. And if given sufficient amount of time and rest, they can actually take on the morphological capabilities of that brain. So it gives you an interesting hybrid experience in this game because you're basically inherently multi-classed from the beginning. Each of the different types of brains that you can have correspond with a different fantasy TTRPG character archetype, and you get different skills and attributes based on all of them. Over time, as you take damage, your brains start to die until you have just one brain left. And if that brain dies, then you are completely squished and turned into insect goo.
And then you
Before,
have to get a job in Twitch streaming.
like us,
Yeah.
I guess technically we're volunteering since we're unpaid.
Come on,
I
we
guess
don't
that makes
share
us,
that.
that's like lower than full-time Stritch. We're like
I'm still holding out for those nickels.
That's right. Yeah.
shiny Amazon wooden nickels.
Oh yeah.
So that being said, it puts a different spin on games. Also, the world lore is uniquely vague in a way that encourages you and your players to explore. Well, since you are a bug, human, alien thing, question mark, what's your scale? Are you miniature little buglings in a giant subterranean cavern, or are you human-sized? And things are scaled, so it adds in some versatility. But all that aside, why don't we let our bug people introduce themselves? And then also, to be fair, I've given all of them very terribly hard to pronounce names, except for one of them, which is kind of an obvious pronunciation. But the book does encourage you to take on the most insectile, unpronounceable thing that you could try to pronounce, since you don't have mandibles and weird clickety-clackety thingamajigs in the face.
And in that spirit, I will introduce myself as BJ Skrillex. I'm Bug Jockey Skrillex. I'm also a Beetlebarian. It lists my class as Barbarian or Bruiser, but I was like, dude, we're bugs. So I'm going to be a Beetlebarian. And
Bugabarian.
yeah, Bugabarian. And yeah, that's me.
I am Rixka. And I am more of a thiefy, roguey, ranger type. I have currently I have really big eyes and fuzzy antenna and beefy upper arms.
I am and and I had the wrong character sheet pulled up this whole fucking time. And I'm now waiting on his actual sheet to load.
You're not you're not necessarily using the wrong sheet. You're just currently switching brains. So
That's
you're
right,
experiencing
yeah.
what it's like
Exactly.
when you're in between brains.
Yeah. That let's see here. It's loaded now. What the I got brains. I've got some small gems. That's cool. Where So, for some backstory on how my night's been going, my computer crashed like 10 minutes before we were supposed to meet up, and then it had to repair some things. And so I got to sit here being like, why are you doing this now? So my headspace not in the right area jumping into this. I'm a bug.
Just switch
See,
your brain, buddy. Just switch your brain.
You know what? It could be worse. You could have COVID and been missing the game that you have been asking for 3 months to play. So I think
I know.
I
Sucks.
just think, it's typical. Like, here goes Paschke bragging about his small gems. It's
Yeah, I
freak-
mean, they're tiny. You're jealous. You wish your gems were so small.
true.
Look at them. They're
I'm
like
not jealous.
powder.
I have my own small gems.
so. Even though all of you
That
have
guy's got
3,
some chitinous plates. I guess that's pretty cool.
I've been
I have
waiting
extra
for you.
spines.
Ooh.
Like, extra spines, I'm not sure you can ever have enough. So extra is like a hell of a lot of spines. That's awesome.
I'm very pokey.
I'm
Don't
wearing
touch me.
pants. Chipped mandible. My mandible is chipped, everybody.
Wow.
So yeah, I got in a fight. At least Brain 2 got in the fight. Do our brains have different names, or are they just
That
1, 2,
is
and 3?
literally what I was going to say. Is that you share the same name and kind of almost outward persona, although your bodies can change over time. So literally,
Okay.
you can change brains at any given time, even to soak damage that you're about to take from an enemy. But if you want to morph into that brain's appropriate body, then you need to cocoon yourself for a cycle, and you literally shift your chitinous plates, your organs regewify and coalesce how they need to be to function for that archetype. So it does make it kind of interesting. So you can have that disc brain orientation thing going on. So, yeah, I guess as you shift into your other brains, you can tell the audience what that brain is as far as what their class is and what unique things that they bring to the table. But that being said, you are bug people, alien, human, hybrid, question mark things, and you are on the outskirts of the great city of Rowan that has fallen into, well, it's on its slow way into decay. All of you were spawned from the great mother who laid you as eggs, and she's been doing this for time immemorial. She is wearing out. The civilization that she initially built has started to fall into disarray as you've gone from drone-like servitors to beings with your own sense of self-actualization and autonomy. After that, the city itself started to kind of fall apart because you are exploring your own whims and interests and things. So, like many bugs, you find great joy and wonder in exploring the sprawling subterranean cavern network that leads out of here in myriad ways. Some of your brains may be seasoned veterans, while other ones may be more timid and more focused on scholastic efforts. Whatever it is, the three of you have bound yourselves together as compatriot in arm in arm in arm, because all of you are four-armed bug things.
Oh, I'm
And
imagining bugs skipping, holding hands, and it's adorable.
I'm like one of
All
you
of our
has like
hands.
one of you
Yeah.
has like a stalactite like club, another person's got like a dragon fang sword, and you're skipping.
Yeah.
I mean, do we know how many arms we have? Are we like bipedal, or like am I a millipede with like a bunch of arms to be held?
So your body might depend. So some of them have fused arms, depending on what their body tarp is like. But you have basically your sixth limb. So you have two bipedally legs, and then you have four limbs. I believe it is the brute that has fused arms. Yes,
Yeah, that's
your
me.
four arms are fused together to make big, beefy arms.
Yeah.
I guess. I guess technically it's not beef because you're an insect. So I guess it'd be like shrimpy. Jumbo shrimp.
Well, I consider, like, I've heard meaty shrimp in commercials and so forth, and I go by those. So
That's
yeah.
me. I'm meaty shrimp in real life. In real life.
Meaty shrimp.
New nickname, fantastic.
No.
So one day, when you were out exploring the shimmer, going through this phosphorescent morass, looking for ancient relics, things from bygone days, and strange things, you detect the strong scent of smoke and fire coming from a tunnel system that is to your relative east. You don't hear any sounds of noise, just detecting the scent of charred plants and other things. You see that you're kind of in a more of an unfamiliar area, having been distracted by following this kind of these fungal paths and things, and you're in a section that you're not quite familiar. There are some dark tunnels to the north that don't seem to have as much of that shimmery phosphorescent moss growing everywhere. And in the far distance to the northeast from here, you've seen what looks to be like a pond, which has a slight shimmering blue cast to it. This is the first cycle of the day. You are all full of rations and rearing to start another full day of adventuring.
We
Between
arose that day full of strength. Sorry, it's a literary convention that I've been noticing, and it makes me giggle. Yeah, like, so I have a question about, you said the smoky smells coming from a tunnel system to the east, correct?
That's correct.
Like, how many tunnel entrances, or can we tell that from this distance?
Sure. From here, basically, we'll do this as a relative north of here. There are dark tunnels that look like there are two of them kind of side by side, bored in the rock going forward, maybe down an angle, just from the relative light in this place. to the due east, you're seeing like one larger tunnel, and you see little hints of smoke kind of wafting out the very top of the tunnel. And then to the northeast from here, you see what looks to be like the expanse of a underground pool of some kind.
Well,
To the west from here is where you came from, which is the large city. And if you want to go back and explore the place where you spend your usual days in and out, you're more than welcome to. But you are a bug living the life of adventure.
hmm. Well, my immediate urge is to like rescue bugs from fire. Um, if y'all are down for that.
I'm down for that.
Yeah, let's bug it up.
Let's bug it up.
Bugging
Bug
it up.
Get it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Get it. So while you follow this path, it's a kind of a strange mixture of smells. It gets more potent. It's almost like a burst of charred herbs, something almost spicy, and then deep, wet, fungally smell on top of it.
Oh, I knew we
Um,
picked the right direction.
Almost as intense as it was at first, it seems to dissipate relatively quickly as you advance towards this tunnel system. It seems like maybe something happened a while ago, and just the natural concavity of the top of the ceilings have kind of retained the odor of it. This wide, winding tunnel leads downward into a large opening where you see that before you is this vista of what looked to be like a large series of settlements or encampments surrounding a very large mound. It looks like the earth here has been heavily scorched, and you start to see that there are these large kind of burnt patches are really actually fields at one point, and you're starting to see that there is an intricate system of little pathways in between these fields. You see from this distance that there are little figures hurriedly moving about. It looks like they're stamping out the last bits of smoking vegetation. From a distance here, you can see their terminates, or basically your version of termites.
Are they like? So they're not. When you say our version of termites, I'm thinking of like bugs having even tinier bugs that like eat their houses. But they're like the termites of our reality or whatever.
I mean that these are, so you are some type of like cockroachy like creatures. So these are sentient termite like creatures, and this is one of their major hubs of civilization, as it were, the Great Termite Mound. So you see that they are busily scurrying about trying to collect bits of fungal shimmer that has survived whatever onslaught has just happened, or also milling about inspecting the large termite mound for damage.
What do you guys think?
Can we talk to him?
Yeah, I guess ask them what happened if they need help. and that
Does
kind of
anyone speak termite?
stuff.
I minored in it at. I was gonna make some funny joke about a college name, but I'm just not that quick on my toes tonight. So let's pretend I
can-
made a good one. Oh, please.
Talk to animals.
Always a quick one on your feet. You are.
What a hold on, let me get my knee real quick. Slapped it. So good.
Good acting,
Such a-
guys. Good acting.
Hey, that's what we're here for.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like, do we speak different languages by group or?
Depending on how you run the lore in this game, you can. Most of these more communal bug-like creatures tend to share some type of common, not tongue, I guess, common mandible that they share that helps them to communicate and parlay of one another. Some of the more feral or antagonistic ones either don't have a language or just choose not to parlay. So it sounds like you're wanting to parlay with some of these I'm just going to say termites. Otherwise, I'm going to trip over their names the entire time we talk about them on the outskirts of this scene. Is that right?
Yeah. And I'm just now figuring out that Terminid is like a Tyranid pun. And as a 40K fan, I'm very embarrassed that it took me that long. So
I didn't get it until you mentioned it, but they're terminates. Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Anyway, yeah.
I didn't actually intentionally make a Lorgar reference earlier. I'll own up to it, but now I see it, so I'm glad. All right, so you still using your brute brain, or are you shifting brains before you communicate?
I should probably let one of the nerd brains do the communicating, huh? Let's see who we got on board.
But if he shifts brains, doesn't he have to take a -2 to all?
Oh yeah, someone else do it.
That is true, unless it's a talent that he has.
I don't think it is actually. Like it's not listed. I was just improving. So if anyone else has a higher brain function than my arm fused hulking self,
I've got. I was going off of my first brain, which my
so since you had a disadvantage of starting off with the whole computer thing, you pick one of those 3 brains and their loadout to be your starting one. So right now you can pick any one of the 3 that you want, no penalty.
Yeah, I think I'm going with brain 1. He looks like he might be the smartest.
How's that charisma?
No, yeah, charisma's great. Intelligence is the brain 3. Yeah, let's. Brain 1's gonna be the one that wants to go up and communicate. So I think I'm gonna go with brain 1.
So brain 1 is a nimble class. So they're charming. They have excellent senses, creepily long fingers. They kind of fill that niche between like being a bard and like a rogue.
Okay.
So you scamper on over to some of the nearest termites, and you ask them exactly what.
Hi there. What you got there? Is that some dirt you're moving around? That's cool. That's nice. Can I call you Terry?
Yeah. What? So there's 2 of them that you come up, and one of them has like a wheelbarrow, and it looks like all of the shimmer that they were harvesting for food is mostly charred beyond use. The one that you're calling what?
Terry
locks these beady bug eyes on you and says, "Yeah, what's it to you, man? What you doing here? We're busy."
So I want to make a joke because insects communicate with smell, so I want to fart to kind of just be like, "Hey, it's cool, dude."
You're trying to clear the air.
Yeah.
The opposite.
Yeah, but it's a bug, so
it's good.
It's like when a dog sniffs another dog's butt, but like cockroaches and termites.
Bug fart was not what I was expecting, so I want to see where this goes. Why don't you go ahead and roll me your charm skill? So that's your 3d6 plus your +3 bonus.
All right, don't move. And okay, that's a 1. That sucks. That's 5, and that is hard to read. That's a 3. So plus my bonus of what?
3. So I'm hearing you got a 12.
If that's what math works.
Nope. Wait. 1, 5, 3. That's 6 and 3. Yeah, 12. Yeah.
All right. So you just rip a fart that goes out through all of your spiracles. I'm assuming maybe you've got spiracles down your. I'm not sure exactly.
So many.
Yes. So and you just kind of have been holding it all morning, and you have this high pitched sound, and it's just like one of those things where your house is burnt down, your crops are all destroyed, and you're not going to know if you're going to have enough to eat the rest of the season. But there's just something funny that happens, and they just both lose their shit. And they just, while they laugh and slap each other on the back and their respective amounts of knees, I'm like, oh man, sorry to be curt with you. This has been a real shit ass of a day. You see, we lost most of our crops. Well, we've been having problems with the crops. The crops have just been, look, we have FID problems. The FIDs have been coming in here, and they've just been eating up all the crops. But there's just like this weird smoke that comes with them. Like there's like a fire and a smoke, and then they just eat everything, or whatever they don't eat is just burnt, and it's just oh man, we're running out of shimmer, and we're gonna starve.
Oh yeah, shimmer. That's a thing. Oh man, I got to tell you. Hey guys, so uh, s- Fids are smoking them and eating their stuff. The Fids are getting high and taking advantage of this situation, is what I'm hearing.
Damn freeloaders.
Are you stating what your
I'm cluing in
postulation
my
is?
group because I don't know what to do. So I'm
I
trying to coyly pass this off to the rest of the party.
well,
Where
Hi guys.
I'm all about cracking skulls, and like the fact that those are two such humorously inclined fellows makes me want to help their little, hive out. So maybe we could go clean a few clocks for these guys.
Yeah,
Or-
let's pull a Bug's Life and let's go beat up the Fids / grasshoppers.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'll be the caterpillar, and
I'll be the brave little toaster.
I'm gonna
yeah,
be the angry ladybug.
Um, so I should clarify earlier when talking a little bit at scale, because I kind of described a little bit what the determinants look like. On an order of magnitude, I guess should they that you were correct there, Charles. They are smaller, so this would be probably like a space marine to child kind of height difference between use the Rowan and the terminids or termites. Well, again, mispronouncing. So you are towering above them, and you're so large that you wouldn't be able to fit inside any of their mounds or their settlements proper. So it does basically mean that when you're farting at them, that you just like rustle their antennae with the force of your. I'm
It's
sorry.
like
What,
right at their level, just a perfect croc dusting.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry. What was it you said you wanted to do? I started rambling there.
Oh, I think we're gonna go crack some Fid skulls for these dudes.
Yeah,
yeah.
do we know what Fids look like?
So fins are
Me?
even
No.
smaller than the termites.
Not much
They're
skull
about this.
cracking then.
Squishing.
Yeah.
Skull
Just
squishing.
popping.
Smashing.
So these aphid-like creatures are about the size of your foot, or smaller, depending on where they are in their life cycle, and they don't normally come up this high in the subterranean caverns. They're usually lower, more bottom feeders. So it's strange that they're here at all.
Hmm.
Um, are you doing any investigating, or otherwise they kind of point you towards some tunnels where they say they've been coming out of those tunnels, but it's been hard for us to chase after them because whenever they're blitzing, there's just this giant cloud of smoke that's just makes us just cough and wheeze, and we get real dizzy, and we just start seeing stars and splotches and stuff.
Okay. So
Uh,
so they're kind of like aphids are being brought up by like ants do this in human world where they'll take aphids up and they'll like eat off a plant and make nectar and then the ants will come and harvest it. So if I'm understanding this, I'm speculating here that something else is bringing the fids to them to steal. This is a symptom of a larger conspiracy.
yeah, are the aphids taking anything back? Are they stealing stuff or are they just eating stuff?
Um, are you asking the two?
Yes, I will
So they're
ask.
like, well,
Got part
they've
first.
been grazing and just like mowing down the crops, but then if you'll see like there's areas where there's just like the fields are charred, like there's a
Mhm.
fire set. We whenever that smoke starts rolling through here, we just start to pass out or we get so dizzy. And then when we come to, and then all the fields are just all messed up like this. This has been happening for the last handful of cycles. I guess handful of days. Really, it's been hard to keep track of it, but at this rate, it's really destroying our whole system of agriculture.
I gotcha. I gotcha. Guess we're gonna go squish some Fids.
Yeah. And find out what this dank ass smoky stuff is.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we like it.
Maybe it's
Sure.
fun.
Maybe it'll give me the munchies and I'll come up here and eat a bunch of Terry and his friends.
Yeah.
Don't
Never
do
know. Well, it's a bug's morality.
Maybe they're all Terry.
So you go in the direction of where they've been showing where there are the tunnels where they've been coming from. It looks to be like one large main tunnel, but after a few minutes walk, it bifurcates into two other tunnels that begin to wind down deeper into the rock. They're all large enough that you can get through this with no problem. The one on the left is a little bit taller and wider than the one on the right. Um, you can see that one of these cracks opens into a small cave, and the other one looks like it opens into a large open space.
So cave or open space?
Cave.
Cave.
Yeah, we can explore that in just like a minute and then head back the other way if we need to.
Absolutely. All right. Grabbing my 3d6 here.
Uh-oh.
So as you, so which one did you say that you're going towards, cave or wide open space?
Cave.
Cave.
All right. So as you enter into this tunnel, very quickly it starts to get jagged, and it almost like double backs on itself, and it gets wider and smaller, like it kind of meanders and undulates. The thing that you're really noticing here is that normally the shimmer it covers almost all the surfaces of these tunnels and systems, but ever since passing through the termite encampment, you notice that the whole flora has been damaged, and in this section of the tunnels that you've been following, it's almost all been eaten away, and it's very dark here. So you bump your various joints and antennae on the very sharp and chaotic bends in this tunnel before it opens into this cave. The cave itself is also pretty dark and barren. Like, all of the floor has been mowed almost clean down. There's only little bits of patches of vegetation that gives a little bit enough of a light that you can say that it's a gloom down here. When your feet are on the floor and you can stretch out your joints and you hear your feet click on the floor, you notice that echoes pretty tall above you, and you can hear it echo into a very large space that you can't even see properly up or in other directions. It is preternaturally quiet here.
Boo! Ooh! 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 They strip mined the place, everybody.
Nice.
Yeah, it seems like it. So can we see the walls, or obviously not the ceiling, but or is it just like a vast empty space?
Well, does anyone have something that they can make a light with?
I have a firestone.
Ooh.
So I don't know. I guess maybe if I find a stick on the ground, I can make a
Well,
torch.
I might have something.
something.
Hang on.
If you want to search and see if you can find bits and bobbles of things, you can make an intelligence check to see if you can scrounge up something.
I'll do that.
Paschke, I've got small gems too, buddy.
Damn it! I thought I was cool.
You're not special.
I
You're
throw my
just like
small
the
gems
rest
on the
of us.
ground and I stomp on them.
I pick
And
them up and take them. Mine
I've-
now.
I've got catnips. Oh, that's cantrips or something like that.
All right.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything that lights up. Not
I got
looking
one
on it.
nectar. Can I eat my nectar just off to the
Save
side?
it. Save it. Don't eat it now.
Okay.
I got, I think, a 16.
A 16. That is a fantastic roll. So yes, you find left behind there the woody roots or stems of some type of plant. It's very, very dried, and it's so gnarled that you can't really tell if this was a stem or a root at one point. But there are roll me 1d6.
I'll take this one that rolled my nicest. Oh, a 3.
So you find 3 of these.
Okay, well that's one enough for each of us.
Yeah.
One for each of us. I guess it's my turn to start a fire.
So you take out your firestone after rubbing a little bit. It starts to get hot enough that it will spark the tip of your stick, and it catches flame. Are anyone else
Yay.
lighting their sticks, or are you conserving them?
I'll hang on to mine for now, just in case we need to go spelunking more.
Yeah, conserving makes sense.
Okay, I won't light mine then.
All right. So with your light, you can see that this space is both smaller and larger than you expected. In relative human sizes, this is probably half the size of what a American football field would be, and just about half as tall as what a stadium would be. Uh, Tall above you, you can see that there are lots of stalactites that hang down precariously. Um, Up there, you can see towards the along their shafts that most of them have some very dried, brittled, and almost completely desiccated shimmer on it. Below where the stalactites are, you can see that there are pits and grooves in the rock, and it looks like instead of making stalagmites, that whatever it has been eating the floor that has been dripping here. And then there are grooves that running towards your east and southeast of here, indicating the floor is sloped. You see with just a little bit of your light towards that far end of the cavern, you see a little bit of a glint.
A
Something
shimmer
small.
glint? Or something shiny
Something
glint?
maybe glass-like.
Oh, I want to head that way.
The rest of you going?
Yeah.
Yes.
So as you advance towards the far side of the cave, you see that propped up on a rock, that there is something that almost looks like a mask, like a small mask made of some type of leathery material, and it's about the shape and size of a termite's head. There are mica glass panels over the eyes that would encompass the head entirely, and it kind of gives this very odd presence about it, like it's almost glaring or leering at you. Further behind this rock, you see that there is a large like niche or alcove that is cut from the rock that is eclipsed in shadow. Looking behind you, you can follow those acidic ruts down, and it looks like there is another exit to this place. So you have 2 major points of exploration: going into this dark niche, or following where these acidic rivulets have led down deeper into the cave system.
I want to try on the mask.
I was going to take the mask, but
Oh,
you
no,
seem
no, please.
interested. I was just going to keep it. You want to try it on? You can try it on.
Yeah, I just want to try it on real quick.
So the mask, because it's made for something smaller than you, only covers just a little bit. Since you're the brute, you probably have this big fat head, so you could just stick it over like one of your eyes.
Thanks, Ian. No, it's all right. I'll let someone else try it on who can see through it properly then.
I was imagining it like sitting on the side of your head, real, I don't know, fancy, like, you know.
Little clown's hat, maybe.
Yeah, or a
Yeah.
fascinator. Yeah, looking real cool.
So if you put it on, there's no quote unquote magical effect to it per se, other than that you can smell that there is a deep, rich spice note to it.
Gross.
You said it was the termite size, right?
Yeah.
Not fid size. Okay. Interesting.
Well, maybe
So
if you bring it back to them, they'll recognize it as
Yeah,
something
maybe
of
they'll know
theirs.
something.
Yeah.
You want to check out this alcove?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alcove. It won't be dark when we get in there. We have a torch. We're so cool.
Mm-hmm.
So are you taking point then? And how do you want to pronounce your name again?
Oh, I pronounced it Rixka. Something, yeah.
I think every time I say it, it's going to be
a little different.
That's a little bit different. Well, go ahead and make me a Intelligence check. Oh, which brain is your current one? Is it the
Currently,
precise?
yes, currently I am the precise brain, so I have a good intelligence. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 12 again. Well, 12, not again.
So, as you advance toward the alcove, you hear in the distance that there is the sounds of wet sklomping sounds, kind of
Ooh,
Wet
moving,
schlomping.
we love
sklomping
it.
sounds.
Sklomping. I'm writing it down.
Sklomping.
Okay, I hear wet sklomping sounds. How far away? Close? Far? Echoey? Hard to tell.
So distance is relative in this game because you do use like clicks that kind of judge distance. So you have different amounts of range. So you are at least 4 at magnitudes of distance away from you. So that would be 4, quick movement
Areas.
units, basically. Correct.
4 areas away. All right. We got some time if we want to change our minds. I hear something, I say.
Yeah. I'm assuming the rest of us
sklomping?
can hear the schlomping.
Well, she had point, and whatever it is, it's
Oh
not.
yeah.
It's just like like it's not like a loud like footfalls. It's like I guess maybe a wet squelching noise would be the actual non-onomatopoeia word to describe it.
I think squelch is an onomatopoeia. That's
It is. It kind of is. You're right.
I was wrong. It's not sklomping, guys. It's squelching. Squelching.
Squelching.
But we
Could
got
you
some time.
Could you reproduce this squelch? I don't know if I've ever heard a squelch before.
I rip a fart. This is very squelchy.
Ah, that's a squelch. Okay.
As you were talking and making squelch, dang it! I'm gonna say that now.
Squelching this time.
As you're
Ooh, that's
making
even different.
wet squelching sounds, you notice that the sounds that you were hearing are beginning to they shuffle a bit, and then they start to close in on your direction.
Uh-oh, they heard us.
So
Maybe
we're
it's
here.
a mating call. Maybe we're attracting someone looking for a good time.
Maybe.
I think what we're hearing might be trombling.
How does a tromble sound? Is it more of a? Is that a tromble?
No. much
Heavy
deeper.
footed
Instead of
ambling
squelch.
was what. So
Yeah. That
All
was
squelch is
right.
like the sound of when you remove your foot from mud.
Okay, so squelch is more of a, not a.
I like how the copy of when we're going to write about this adventure, if for our social media platform, is going to be like, well, we made fart sounds for half of the games.
so much
I love
fun.
it.
If
I
you
love
like
it.
farts, this
Hi,
is
everyone.
the game for you.
Our
Welcome
ratings
to
went through the
farts.
roof, and we got 150 new subscribers that night. It was
Yes,
great.
that's what we were
Yeah.
missing. That was the
Yeah.
chat. That was the spice. It was
The
fart
chat was
noises all
so
along.
active with the fart noises that they wanted to hear.
Yeah.
I
People were
maintain that
making
If you're in the
farts are very
chat
funny.
right now, please type your favorite squelching noise or fart sound, and
Vote now to see how wet it should be.
we will read it live.
I like, pretty wet, and then it like does that high trumpet noise at the end, you know?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
and then like a little pause, and then. All right, so we prepare for combat or a makeout section, whatever comes out of that tunnel.
I think
Now-
that the two are like very difficult to distinguish for my character.
And important to know is that you do have enough time that you could evade the creatures without figuring out what they are altogether.
Mhm.
When you are in combat, your active brain can decide to flee. That's actually one of your combat actions. So if you make a successful speed check during combat, you can GTFO. But you are basically out of the scene and you leave your compatriots behind until it resolves. Just as a FYI.
I'm kind
So-
of nervous about being squished myself, so maybe we should hide and see what they are before we decide to combat.
Doesn't that mean we'd have to snuff out
smooch.
our lamp though?
Yeah,
our
but we
torch?
can relight it if we need
That's
to.
true.
We can go right outside the alcove where we can kind of see. They're heading our
Okay.
direction. They'll probably come check it out.
I'm into it. Let's scope them out.
Yeah.
They'll come to us. They'll be right where we want them.
Let's go lurk behind a handy rock is what we'll do.
Yes.
We could put the torch off somewhere else and have them go investigate the torch, and then we can
Ooh.
jump up from behind them.
Look who's thinking with
if
all
we-
3 brains.
Okay, so yeah,
They call me 3 brains. I kill them by 3 brains.
you're so cool. I guess I'm gonna leave the torch behind in the alcove then.
Yeah.
What do you think?
We can see what they look like as they gather around it in wonderment.
Exactly.
So you distance yourself from the smoldering torch,
Yeah, a little bit.
and you start to hear those sounds that you were making with your face
Slapping,
begin to
punching.
advance towards you, echoing in this kind of cavernous space. In the faint light of the torch, you see that these are massive bunches of fungal matter with big bulbous eyes, a lolling tongue, in a giant mouth that just kind of wetly opens and closes, making a
De-
sound.
Definitely here to make out then.
I mean, I'm
With-
into
Like
it.
with
they
its
want-
kind of like wet flapping arms, like you see it like move and look at the torch, its eyes blinking asynchronously. 2 more loom out of the shadows looking at the torch, and then one raises this big wet stump, and then it stamps out the light.
So
Then you
on the
s-
real, you guys have seen the 1980s like shitty punk rock classic Return of the Living Dead, right?
Yeah.
Send more
Yeah.
paramedics.
Yeah, that one. So do you remember the nightmarish like gloppy thing in the cellar that you see? at
Yeah,
one point?
Yeah.
I'm
the
kind
thing in
of
the barrel.
picturing, yeah, the thing in the barrel. I'm like picturing these as being sort of like that, and it's deeply unsettling. So
I was imagining a fuzzy version of the brain bug from Starship Troopers.
oh shit, yeah.
So take both that together and mix it with a giant mushroom or toadstool, or in essence,
Man.
you take a mascot outfit of Grimace from McDonald's, covered in fungus, leave it out in a wet alley for a couple of years after a binger, and that is what is ambling out of the gloom.
Ian, you could have just said a 1980s Grimace costume.
Left
Today.
in the rain. Yeah, yeah.
Fun fact. What?
Would it still be purple? Who knows?
That is a good question. What is Grimace? That's your trivia question. Random lightning round. Dun, 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 dun.
Oh,
An eggplant.
he
No.
actually was supposed to be something.
He
I
is
remember
something.
this.
No, but I
He
don't
had
Yeah.
4 arms originally. I know that, but I don't know what he was.
That I don't know. No one gets the secret. No one gets the secret bonus 3d6 roll on the loot chart. He was supposed
Dang.
to be a taste bud.
What?
I
That's
love
why
it.
he's
Taste
purple
bud?
and cone shaped.
That doesn't.
I didn't even know that my taste buds were purple and cone shaped. I knew Grimace
it?
was purple and cone
Is
shaped.
it?
I'm not making this up.
is that Grimace? Is that what it is? I mean, yeah. If you flip it upside down,
Well, that's a tongue, not a taste bud, right? So then all I can imagine is like the tongue that he came off of and how huge it must
Oh,
be. And does
God.
he call it mommy? Like I don't want to
Truly
think about it.
Lovecraftian.
no.
I
The
feel-
Grimace calls it daddy, and
Yes. But in a sex way.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I feel bad for John because like even his beloved mushroom people are here in this game. And like, yeah, he had to I mean, not that I'm not delighted to have you aboard, Jenny. It's just it's like
I
all John's
understand.
favorite things and he got
I
sick
know
and
it.
couldn't eat the meal. So yeah.
Now, these things are about the same size you are. I mean,
Right.
Just
Okay.
like a little more corpulent, but
There's
they-
3 of them, right?
there's 3 of them.
I don't like those odds to be honest.
I know,
Yeah.
3 versus 3, that doesn't
Yeah.
seem fair.
okay, so we wait till they start to go away, and then we just pick them up from behind.
We just grab one of them.
Yeah,
Well,
See if
now
it's
you're
delicious.
basically back in total darkness.
Yeah. But we can
Yeah,
hear them.
okay. I don't know about creeping up on these things, but we have that whole other tunnel
Yeah.
to check out. And I don't do you guys think it's the fungus monsters who are causing the problem?
I mean, something is strip mining all the shimmer. Uh, I I would think that the little aphids, not aphids, whatever they were called, are being brought here by something, possibly the fungus monsters. I We can check the other area. I'm down with that because we who are we other than Americans to show up and just be like, "Hey, you're the bad guy. Let's kick your ass."
I have a question. Is there any chunks of shimmer still left nearby? Any smallish, or is it completely
In this
shimmer free?
area, the shimmer is all like the actual glowing healthy patches are all basically gone. There were some at the very beginning of the tunnel when you first entered into this space, but after that, this place is barren.
Maybe it
Dang.
is them. Yeah.
Yeah, if there'd been a piece nearby, I would
No.
have yoinked it and thrown it in there to see how they reacted to it. But there's
go
So we
none
get some
around.
shimmer in a box. We put the box over the shimmer.
Little
Would
stick.
would anyone like to make an intelligence roll to see what you know about these fungoid
Sure.
creatures?
I'll
Not me.
do
I'm dumb as hell.
a third intelligence roll. Ooh, very nice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's a 6. 15.
All right, high roller over here.
Hmm.
So, fungoid are creatures that some believe have been formed and created from the shimmer itself. That they almost are the caretakers of the shimmer. Their function is to find fertilizer and try to keep the health and balance of the shimmer in places. So they hunt down dead bodies and use it for fertilizer, or in a pinch, they'll make dead bodies and then they'll use them to fertilize and feed the shimmer.
Do I know of anybody ever talking to them or having conversations with them?
Some think that the rogue shimmer cultists do, but most people give them a wide berth because A, they're fucking crazy, and B, they don't worship the queen that you venerate, the one that birthed you in your race. They worship the shimmer itself like a queen. And that makes them scary.
Yeah, but if all this shimmer is dead, maybe they would know what's killing it and how to fix it.
So they're more like servitor like intelligence. Because they are animated fungus, basically.
That's
Animated
fine.
Oh, so
taste
are
buds.
orcs, you know. All right.
Wah.
Animated taste buds. Um if they're the caretakers, like I don't see them damaging it, and if they're not going to have
Yeah.
much useful to say. Now, the fact that there's acidic shit dripping down from the surface might be worth investigating. But then
Mhm.
again, the aphids and smoky smell are coming from below, not above, so
So I think I'm going to wait for the fungoids to leave and then I'll get my stick. We can go check out the other place.
All right, cool. We'll wait for them to trumble off into the darkness.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to make a distraction to help that along? Or
Nah, just wait.
all right, so you wait for some amount of time. It's dark and it's hard to know exactly how long. There's still a long pause at first. You hear a crunching sound, and then the sound of spitting and almost gagging, and then wet thumps, maybe something beating another thing, and then
One of them
uh,
dared to eat the torch, and the other
Yeah,
one
I
didn't
think they
like
ate
it.
my stick.
And then
you
I think
hear
one of them beat the other one up about it.
Or they're doing it.
then you hear a series of what
They're doing
and
it.
stomps, and then they start to amble in the direction of where you initially came from, back up that tunnel.
Well, that backfired.
Wait, so they're coming our way?
Well, they
So
went
this is a
past
large
us.
this is a
and-
large space, so chances are they'll probably move past you.
So they're
Yeah.
going towards the termites, though.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Hmm.
Uh-oh.
Well, maybe we have no choice but to throw down.
You still have the alcove you haven't explored, and then the other tunnels that lead out of here and then down and deeper.
Here's my thing. They worship the wrong queen. Let's start with that.
They're not the cultists. They're of the Shimmer. They are the fungal servitors of.
Okay.
But
So
there are
maybe-
cultists, yes.
So maybe the cultists are controlling them, making them do bad things. I don't think they're the ones we have to fight.
Yeah.
They've already gone past us. We should go back the other way. We should. I agree. But here we are now. Press on.
Yeah, explore the alcove. It is.
Okay,
You not like this idea?
it's fine. It's
No.
fine that
Tell me I'm wrong.
It's fine that we've left the termites to the, fungoids. It's fine.
Well, I don't know that that's where they're going necessarily.
They could go the other way that we were going to go.
Sure.
Plus, that's a termite problem.
That's what I'm saying. It's fine.
Well, we've kind of decided to make termite problems our problem, at least for the length of this.
We picked the aphid problem.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, that's a termite problem, as in it'll go beat up Terry and his friends, like possibly. I don't know.
But then if we don't solve the aphid problem and the fungoids killed the termites, then we're in the clear anyway, right?
Yeah, fair enough.
We can't lose.
No, this is a win-win.
One of those fabled win-wins.
Wow. All right. I guess let's check out the alcove. I'll try to find my stick.
And if the termites die, it's all Ian's fault.
Yes. He is a
Maybe.
cruel god, our Ian.
So are you lighting your other torch then?
Do we want to light a torch? Can we
If
hear
you
how
wait a
far away?
sufficient amount of time, you can see the outlines of the fungoids in the little patches of shimmer that were at the entrance. And you can see that they are just cramming themselves in that tight tunnel. And you hear in the very distance the echo sound of and then
I love
as
it.
they are just shoving each other in the tunnel.
Wow.
Yep.
So
Shoving each other in the tunnel.
they're
Yep,
for
shoving each other.
In the tunnel.
So they're for sure going after Terry and his friends by the sound of it.
Well, keep in mind that goes back up to that bifurcation point where there's three
okay,
pathways.
okay.
So they could go up back to where the termite town is, or they could go in that other pathway that leads into a larger open space. That's up to you guys.
No, if they're out of sight, it's time to relight a torch.
Yeah. And check out that alcove. I want to see
See
that
if they
alcove.
ate the other torch.
So you when you light your other torch, you can see that where the first torch was, it's now a pile of very wet, masticated, splintered pulp.
They chewed it and didn't swallow it. Those wasteful sons of bitches.
It sounded like one was probably choking on it. Probably explaining
Amateur.
the sound, but you're not exactly sure. As you get back into the alcove from where they came from, you feel like it's starting to it gets more narrow, and it's a little bit more wet here. You see that the floor is sloping upwards a bit, and the water that is kind of trickling down isn't making those carved rivulets. The ceiling itself slopes down a little bit more, and you start to see like fungus, like little clusters of mushrooms beginning to sprout from the cramped ceiling here. It's not quite the shimmer, but you can see that there is some life here that is struggling to gain hold. You see patches of dead shimmer that looks like there's fertilizer that's been put here recently, maybe in the attempts to kind of coax it back. Deeper further into this alcove, it gets to a point where you'd almost have to crawl on your belly to advance further. But you think as this shelf slopes downward, kind of meeting into this almost like a crack in between the floor and the ceiling where it sloped, that you could probably crawl through this and maybe into a space beyond, or maybe it might be a place that you could get your chitinous exoskeleton stuck on. But there's a little bit of a breeze here, and it smells like fresh and cool.
Nice. Well, if it smells fresh and cool, then it's not what we're looking for. And also, I have too many spines.
Yeah,
many
there's no way in
spines.
hell that I'm gonna squeeze through that. I'm big and I don't want to get stuck. So, as delightful as that sounds, it doesn't
We
sound like
enjoy the
anything
fresh
that.
air
Yes,
for a minute.
but it doesn't sound like anything that would kill Shimmer or set shit on fire or
Yeah.
raid a agricultural settlement. So
Yep.
But you do see, though, that it looks like they are trying to rekindle the
Right.
shimmer growing here.
Exactly. So that's great. We're
Yeah.
looking for bad guys, so not this.
all right, time to go squelch along after those guys into the
Well, there is still the
pound
pathway.
each other into that tunnel. Hmm?
Well, you can go back to where you came from, or there was
There's
this
the other one.
There's one exit out of here that you could also follow.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
okay.
that's the next one we should
Yeah.
check.
Okay.
Yes.
Do
So
it.
we sklorp along.
So imitating your favorite fungoid, you sklorp along, and so this cavern on the east wall of this, you see that there is a tunnel that leads deeper into the earth. The air that is breathing out of here is tinged with that smoky smell that you were smelling
Yes.
previously, but also sulfur, and there's like a note of heat that is coming this
I'm
way.
just feeling more and more at home, man. This is great. Yeah, let's keep going.
So as you wind through this tunnel, you see that up ahead there's a red glow that illuminates, eventually brighter than this little torch that you have.
Yeah, if we don't need the torch, I'll put it out. If
I'd
we
like to
need it, I'll keep
bask
it on.
in.
But
I'd like to bask in this satanic ambiance. That would be nice. A red lit cave, like you don't get that all the time unless you're at a Disney property.
As you follow this tunnel, you can see that that it gets warmer and it gets hotter, and you're still kind of going at a pretty steep. You're coming at like a pretty steep descent now. The tunnel itself opens into a subterranean cavern. You see that this large, expansive space is sufficiently deep enough that there are some cracks in the floor that look to be almost red with hints of magma. That perhaps there's some type of volcanic activity in this space.
oh my.
In fact, this place itself is just devoid of shimmer, not because perhaps of intentional sabotage, but it looks like it goes through cycles of intense heat. You can see around the cracks in the floor, the edges are black with intense heat and scorch. There are areas along the floor that look like that at one point they've been active volcanic vents. This on the far side of this, you can see that the floor itself looks even more fractious with more of these red lines that give this red glow to this space. On the far side of this almost canyon-like area, you see that there are some almost looks like huts or yurts, and tables and equipment. So this space is quite far. So this would be, again, using the kind of convention of American metrics, because we like to make everything measures of stuff. My favorite was during COVID, keep 6 pies away from someone, which was great because in Spanish that means 6 feet away. So it anyways.
Oh, nice.
Seriously, yeah. So I kept saying it in elevators, like pictures of pies, but also feet. Um, so this would be like the length and size of a full stadium. So this is a kind of a full of heat and it is almost uncomfortable to you because you're used to slightly humid, cold, damp, wet environments, and this is the exact polar opposite of that.
Mm-hmm.
I think we found our culprits, though, or at least someone to talk to about like, have you been fucking with the local Terry population, huh? Have you?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we
Why
better
you gotta
set
mess with
off
termite
then.
Terry? Sheesh.
Yeah.
Let's go up to him and have a fart.
That's right. It really calms them down.
We fart in their general direction.
That's right. And it smells of elderberries.
Yeah.
Let's get going. It sounds hot and unpleasant, and might
Yeah.
as well get it over with.
Mhm. Can we pick the best path across?
It looks like there isn't a good path, as when you descend down to the floor of this space, you can detect that it's quite unstable here, and there's various um, like cracks that make it seem like maybe there's like the geostability of this place is questionable. In order to really kind of pass by this major field where it seems to be the most unstable, I'll have all of you make speed checks. If you
Ooh.
fail, you might slip and fall into one of these cracks.
Might get a scorching.
So 3d6 or 1d6?
3d6.
That would be 5, 4, and 1. So that's a 9 total. And
All
my
right.
speed is I might be a disadvantage. I might be fucking toast, you guys. Let's find out.
Toasty
Let's see,
toast.
speed, because I'm using my bruiser body. We have accuracy, this, that, the other damn thing. Power speed. Oh shit. -3.
Oh yeah.
Yikes.
How are the other of you?
10.
I got an 11.
10. All right. So the other two of you that are not Skrillex navigate deftly across these volcanic vents.
You know what's
Um,
fucking funny about this?
What?
Real life non-bug DJ Skrillex. Do you guys remember when he set his dreadlocks on fire trying to blow out his birthday cake at some Vegas club?
No.
No.
It was
That's
like
funny.
the video went like hyper viral. It had like 1 billion views
I'm
because
gonna have to
who
do
doesn't
that.
want to see Skrillex set his hair on fire?
So what happens here is you get one of your feet stuck in
Oh
one of
no!
these cracks, and you face plant into another crack. What happens here is a cross between the Michael Jackson getting his chest on fire and the Skrillex getting his dreadlocks on fire, but it's your antennae and your
Oh,
carapace that are kind of catching flame.
oh
No.
no!
So you take, oh, well, you lucked out on that. 2 damage. So that means that 2 of your stats will be damaged. Now you can soak that in
Oh,
any 3 of
better
your
believe
brains.
I'm. See, the whole time I've been planning to have Jock Brain hold up one of my nerd brains to take all the damage. So let me see which one I've got. That let's see. Yeah, maybe not.
So it's basically like each brain has 6 hit points because you have 6
Yeah.
stats, right?
Yep. I'll just I'll have my third brain take that.
So is that going to be your clever brain?
Yes.
All right.
And it's 2, right?
Yeah. So you
I'm
have to
gonna.
pick 2 stats.
Oh, 2 stats. I can't just take 2 points off one stat.
No. So it's not points. It's damage. So you pick 2 of your stats that become damage. That means that
Yeah.
you then roll 3d6.
2D.
You drop the highest die.
Okay, cool. I will do that with intelligence and charm.
All right. Mark that off. Now things like your nectar or your rations can, when you eat that, will negate your damage for 1 combat round or for 1 skill. If you have certain like healing abilities or items, then it will bump it up to full. Like nectar will actually undo damage, but nectar is rare, and I think only like 1 or 2 of you might have it. But anywho, that being said, so you face plant into this. It's a scorching, terrible, searing pain, and there's a smell of burnt chitin, and it's unpleasant for everyone involved. As the 2 of you help your compatriot back up, you feel like you're being watched.
Well, we are now.
This place is still pretty quiet after the echoes of Skrillex's screams die down. But there's a kind of oppressive eeriness of knowing like something is amiss in this space.
Hmm.
Do you continue heading towards where you see that encampment?
Yeah.
Taking your time to very carefully move here, you see that this looks like this was some type of settlement. You don't see any other bugkin here, but you see that it looks like there are scattered barrels, boxes, and jars heaped up in between this grouping of yurts. There are like 3 large yurts, a couple of tables, and it seems like it's been abandoned. There's a fire pit in the very center of this place as well that looks like it's still slightly smoldering, like there might have been some activity in the last cycle or two. Um, and so there are some things that you can go through. You can explore these yurts, figure out what this material is, and then past these yurts, you can see that hidden from your previous viewpoint from above, it looks like there is another tunnel that might go upwards from here.
Are the yurts and the supplies our sized, or are they termite sized, or are they aphid sized?
They're slightly small, so they're almost in between the size of your like half, a little bit larger than the termites, but smaller than you. So
Hmm.
runts of Roans or maybe very large termites could probably inhabit these yurts.
Definitely want to explore. Yep.
Yeah, /search
Investigate.
_ Yurt Warren. Yeah.
Investigate.
Everyone take a yurt.
Yurt number 1.
Yurt number 2.
Yurt number Neptune.
Okay.
All right, Neptune, you're up first. So you poke your head in one of these, and it looks like there are bedrolls. There are 4 bedrolls here, and they're pretty small. You're starting to get the feeling these are relatively terminite sized. It's very worn here. The bedding itself is very like stained and old and ragged. And there's
It's so nasty that there are little tiny humans in it.
oh, gross.
Yeah.
Bed
People.
humans. Bed humans. Whoa.
Is there like I don't know, like a pot or a chest or something I can open / smash?
This looks to be mostly like bedrolls, but go ahead and give me an intelligence check.
To see if you try to smash the bedroll.
All right, so that's almost perfect. Intelligence 0, that's fine. That's okay. So 17?
Wow.
Or wait, no. Yeah, 5, 10, 6, 16.
Yeah.
Off by 1. My math was bad.
That is fine. So as you go through the bedrolls trying to figure out, like, find some things of use, you find that there are some sacks of powders in here, and they have very strong odors to them.
I stored it.
So there are 3. Are you snorting bag number 1 of unidentified powder, bag number 2 of unidentified powder, or bag number 3 of unidentified powder?
Or the Belushi special, a little of all of them.
I rolled a 4, so let's go with bag number 3.
All right. That is... I love it. So you grab a big fistful of this stuff, and you just, without really thinking about it, looking at it, researching it, tasting it, rubbing on your gums, whatever, you just stuff it up your honker and just snort.
Writing it down.
So
Stuff it up your honker and snort.
the rest of you have your heads in your yurts, and you hear this like overwhelming like sneezing / like snorting, like the sound of like a foghorn coming out of a rowan. Starts this blast out of this yurt as basically you have snorted a giant fistful of sawdust. And it is not pleasant. You have splinters going up. Whatever serves as nostrils and nasal cavities is completely just impacted by rough, coarse sawdust.
Delicious. Just like Mom used to make.
Um,
God bless the Queen.
Oh.
Terry would love this. Bring it back for him.
Yeah.
So Rixton,
Me?
Rickety Rick
Rick
Rick Rick
ska.
Rickska.
Yeah.
Ricky Tikki Tavi? I don't know.
I love Ricky Tiki Tavi.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Absolutely. When you open this, you see that there is various equipment that's been stored here, like broken mortars and pestles, pots. You see a couple of large cone-like things. I guess like large to you would be like the size of a like a small traffic cone,
Hmm.
and it gives off a very strong scent to it, almost like incense. Um, you see that this place looks like it's been ransacked.
Hmm.
No, you found more
Interesting.
evidence, I think.
I'm really curious about these giant incense cones.
You know, light one up, have a toke on it, just like like our buddy Lorgar
Mm,
over there.
no.
It's great. Got to do it.
No. I'm deciding if I think this stuff is meant to clear out stuff or if it's meant to draw things in.
Are you investigating the rest of this?
Sure.
Go ahead and make me an intelligence check.
Let me roll for it. Let the dice decide what I know.
Yeah.
13.
So the floor in this space looks like it's covered with trails of grease, which is very unusual, especially in a place like this.
Got some
And
sawdust. I'll
with
soak
your
that right up.
there you go, just sneeze on it. You identify this grease as slorper larvae grease. It can be quite a versatile component, but if it's spread all over the floor, either A means a jar of this has been broken, or it means that there are slorpa larvae in the environment. They're large, creepy larvae-like creatures that usually are pretty passive, but if they're if they're backed into a corner or if they're aggressed upon, they will become very aggressive.
Don't we use them for stuff?
The grease is used for all manners of things, sealing, waterproofing things. You can gain poison from their spines and get some useful tools out of them, but they're not something you want to handle when they're angered.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to add that there is a third possibility. You said dropped a jar of it. They've been getting rambunctious or hilarious prank, because one of the uses for Schlurper oil you did not mention is buttering your friend's floor while they're asleep. They get up, yeah, it's hilarious.
Go to
The
the
old-
bathroom.
The old
Yeah.
slorp floor, huh?
We love a
old
slurp floor.
Yeah. BugTube is just full of those videos.
Skrillex, in your yurt, you see that there are more of these bedrolls. You see that this one looks to be more cramped, and there are like 8 of these almost piled upon each other, and it is definitely very rank with the stench of sweat and things. There are some like bug blood stains here.
Yeah, this seems like a forced labor camp to me, kind of. I don't know. Bad vibes.
I was hoping it was like a science expedition camp, but I don't think that's the case.
I was
Blood
hoping
and,
for cultists, like we were promised.
Look, guys, we're all disappointed.
Do you want to investigate the bedrolls to see if there's anything here?
Sure.
Go ahead and make me an intelligence check. I guess I'm just making a lot of intelligence checks. In the zine, it says intelligence check for searching. In the core book, it says charisma, which I thought was interesting.
Let's see. That's an 8, and a teeny die says 6. So that's a, let me see. 8 and 6 is 14, and I think that my intelligence is -2 with this brain.
You only rolled 2 dice?
No. I rolled 3.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's a different brain where I only roll 2. Yeah. But my intelligence on this is that's my speed that's low. That's super low. Intelligence is a 0, so yeah, that comes out as 14.
14. So as you are digging through this, you find that in one of the bedrolls, like shoved all the way at the very toe of this, as to be kind of hidden, you find another one of those masks. It looks like it's been stepped on or smashed, but if it was, looks like it was originally put there with great care.
Maybe there are cultists.
Maybe there are.
Maybe we should gather all the masks.
You know what might not be the worst idea in the world? Like, I don't know. Actually, for game purposes, we should keep going. But if this were like a long-term campaign, I'd say just like bring the evidence up to Terry and ask him what the fuck is going on.
Right. That's why I grabbed that first mask, which is now on your head, but it was, in case we wanted to ask somebody about it.
We're lucky it didn't burn off with my antennae. It's still up there as though by magic. Like, just...
Yeah, beautiful.
Yep.
So are you going to have 2 masks now?
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
mean,
Skrillex
on
2
each
masks.
That's right, yeah.
Pull
I'm gonna
Princess
layer them
Leia.
like they do at Burning Man.
Nice.
Masks on bikes, on things.
You almost were a Burning Man, so this makes sense.
Yeah, I was.
Do we want to go down this tunnel that's behind these tents?
Yes.
I mean, yeah, I'd say so. May as well.
I guess, yeah, we regroup, discuss what we found, which wasn't a lot.
The only thing we have to lose is one of our lives, and we all have 3. So
Do you tell us about the other pouches you found?
Oh yeah, I got this great sawdust. Yeah, you guys can have this one. I don't know what's in the other 2. I haven't sorted them yet, but
I want to look at the other bags.
I'll let her do it since her intelligence is better than mine, I think.
It is. Well, it's a +2.
No, then we have the same. Yeah, you go ahead and do it though.
Oh. Only a 12 this time.
Only a 12. So you identify these materials as things that are, well, the first sack is powdered twister mushroom. You can kind of tell by its unique kind of like white peppery smell to it with a little bit of like a sulfur. The second bag is hive cup, which is the top portion of the main food, one of the main food crops too for termites. The terminites, they shimmer and they eat hive cup. They prefer the stems rather than the caps themselves. Caps have a higher sugar content to it. And then what Lorger had snorted, which is rootwood sawdust. This is being looks like they're combining this to make those incense-like cones things that you found in that other yurt.
So not food?
They're not food. You know that the twister mushrooms, when they're inhaled or ingested, lowers inhibitions and it creates a dizziness and sense of vertigo. So perhaps
So
that...
this is what's
they're
been
causing the smoke.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to take one of those incense cone things with me as evidence or whatever.
Yeah.
So we're back on this is the cult camp?
Maybe not even a cult. Maybe they're just using this this stuff, manufacturing it either for themselves or for someone else to use on the, maybe not just the Terry people, maybe on all kinds of folks. Who knows? Let's keep on keeping on and see what
we
we
don't know
see.
enough yet.
So as you have been investigating this. You can see that as you step outside the yurts, you have your tables and the barrels. It looks like there's again more mortars and pestles where they've probably been grinding these materials. And at this time, as you've been spending significant time searching in these yurts, you've noticed that there's this very strong oily smell in the air. And coming from down that tunnel, you see that there are two of these large slorper larvae that are kind of with that peristaltic movement, almost like giant grubs, like a grub
Mhm.
plus a carrion crawler is kind of the aesthetic of it, and is moving its way towards you. There are two of them, and they're just coating everything with a thick, oily slime as they are advancing towards you. They look wild and distressed. One of these slurper, the one in rear, looks to have some wounds down its side. It's when it gets a scent of you, its tentacles flail and it makes this like undulating sound as they like start to like move towards you,
Oh
clacking
no.
beak-like mandibles in between their halo of tentacles. Uh,
How big are they compared to us?
they are large. So if you are an average size, these things are large. They're 2 times the size of you,
Oh
and
my.
uncomfortably fast for how fat and corpulent and grub-like they are. So
Can I
it's
write it?
well, we'll see. We will use initiative in this. So since you're not being surprised and you're going to be on equal footing, we will do initiative based on what brain you have out currently, and then you can switch next round if you want. So, Skrillex, you have your brutal brain out, so you have initiative of 2. Um, you have Lurger, you have which brain out?
Oh, Erger. Yes. My brain number 1, so that's a 7.
Nimble. So that's a 7. Um, okay.
Um, so that's 2 is like what I add to my stat, correct?
No,
So
it's just is
it's
your stat.
correct.
Oh.
Yeah, it's just
Okay.
flat. Evan Riskiska, you're the precise, so you are 5.
Mhm.
So in our order of initiative is going to be Lorger, followed by Riskska. Then it'll be the Slurper larvae, and then in rear we are going to have Skrillex. So you can make your standard attack. You can defensively flee. You can do other actions during your turn. What are you hoping to do?
I hope to name it Appa. And I
Aw.
hope to jump on its back and go, yep, yep.
Good luck.
All right.
I don't think
So-
it can fly, but even so, pretty cool.
Now, keep in mind that there are some spines that bristle on it. So if you try to ride it, you have a significant chance of getting spined with a poisonous spine. If you want
I
to,
did not know there were spines.
that's where the poison is stored.
Okay. My intelligence is 0, so that's not bad. Are they coming at us, or are they just like in the area being like, oh, hey, is that a yurt? That's cool. What you guys doing there?
They are dead set advancing towards you, almost as if they've been driven towards you.
Yeah, we're in combat, dude. I
Yeah,
think.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
These things are hostile towards you.
Yeah, okay. Well, then we're going to. I've got a spear. I've got 2. I've got
So
2 spear.
your
Two-handed spear.
Yes, that's correct. So it's a two-handed weapon to use the spear.
And I've got a stalagmite club that's a +1 to damage.
Correct.
Okay.
So you can choose to use either one of those. Different classes may give you a benefit for using a two-handed weapon versus a
Mhm,
one-handed,
mhm.
just depending on what your stalactite club would do +1 damage, and your spear doesn't give you a benefit per se. So all of
Okay.
you have a mundane weapon, and then all of you have a unique weapon. So the unique one has some type of trait to it, whether it's adding on poison, extra damage, extra attack, etc.
All right. So there's no chance of me charming them into not fighting us.
It does not seem now. If these were not enraged, then there would be a chance that you could probably try to charm or interact. But these are like when you've enraged like a rhino. We're like, well, if it was not enraged, you could probably do that. But when it's in full red beady eye mode,
Mm-hmm.
no boy.
All right. So I'm gonna have to kill Appa. All right. All right.
Now,
That's
so
9.
you roll when in combat. You roll your 3 dice, and
Mhm.
then each one. Normally, they're going to be color coded. We'll just do them in position. Your leftmost die is going to be your attacking die. Your second die is going to be your defense die, and your third one is going to be your special/effect die. So, what did you get with your first die? What was this the raw number? We'll do this step by step so we can get used to combat here.
All right. So green die was 6,
All
gold
right.
die
Oh.
was 1, and gold red die is 2.
All right, so your first die, if you roll a 6, that's super good. So you're going to add 6, and since you're having your nimble out, your 2-hit offense is +2, so that's a total of 8 to hit this thing. So you absolutely hit the Schlorper larvae with a resounding hit. Were you using the spear or your club?
I'm gonna go with the bonus one,
Okay.
the club.
So that means that you're going to get +1 to your offensive damage. So that would be a total of 2. So you do 2 damage against this first one. This one doesn't seem to have wounds on it like the one in the rear, but you do a resounding hit upon it. And your second die, you said was a 1.
Yeah.
Your to block defense is 0, so you've only rolled a total of 1. So as you have just smashed it with its club, it whips around some of its tentacles and it pulls you in for a bite. These beaks, these like bird-like beaks, clamp around your exoskeleton and begin to crunch into you, inflicting 4 points of damage.
Ooh.
You don't have any defensive damage, so you don't have any soak, so you take 4 points of damage. Now, you can apply that towards any one of your 3 brains.
Let's put it on brain number 3.
So you switch into brain number 3, and that means you take if you 4 of those stats are become damaged. So pick 2 that you don't want to be damaged and just mark them.
All right.
I guess it's a way to think about it.
So I'll not damage the positive ones and just.
That's right. So you'll be keeping your accuracy and your intelligence.
Yeah.
So your charm, durability, power, and speed are all damaged. Your brain reels with the impact, and you feel various goo inside you die from the impact of the beak. Your third die roll was
That was a 2.
a 2. All right. So it okay. All right. So it'll do that action. Fantastic. Next in initiative is going to be you, Rixka.
Okay, so how does using a bow, what with areas, etc., work?
So you are going to be treating that as accuracy.
Right.
So you will be. You have to be one one area away from the creature, and I believe it is just treated as. Hold on, let me just check to see if that is an accuracy check or not. Stand
Ye-
by.
Compound
I
bow
thought.
and compound eyes.
Ooh, that is the way to do it.
I was actually pretty good at archery at summer camp until we got to compound bows. And so like when it was just like a dumb Robin Hood, like one string bow, I was like, hey, this is cool. But
Well,
then
it's
when it was
hard.
like The pull on those things is
Yeah.
back in the day, it was fucking insane.
Yes, so it is considered to be an accuracy skill test. Just treated it as that. So it's done differently than like a melee combat. So
Right.
yeah.
So I add all my dice together plus
That
my
is correct.
accuracy. All right.
Nice.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. A 12.
All right. All right. So that would be a hit. Are you attacking the one that has just bitten your compatriot or the one in the rear?
If there isn't any difference between what the distance requirement, I guess I'll attack the one that just bit.
All right. So as it is distracted with chewing on your friend, it leaves its flank open and you fire into it and you inflict your damage, which for you is the precise. So it is a base of 0. So you do
I
1
think it's just
point
one,
of
right? Yeah.
damage in that case. Correct. All right. It hisses and it wails and it lets your compatriot go, but it continues to kind of flagellate him with his its tentacles. All right. Next in initiative are the creatures. So the you have done 3 hit points to it, so it bumps its thing. It is going to make a standard attack against you since you are in close range. Next time I'm going to make things that are easier for me to pronounce. It again angrily clacks its beaks and it rears up and it tries to bring all its weight down to bash you. So, and kind of like Morkborg style, I'm not rolling to hit you. You're doing this exchange. So you're basically repeating that round that you did with your attack, defense, and things. So it's a two-way street when it comes to this. So make your 3 die, your 3d6 roll.
All right, so keeping things the same, attack would be green, which is 6. Gold would be 4, and then 1 would be the third one.
All right. So from that, you have looking at the stats. I know that you have successfully dodged the attack this time. You get another hit against it, so you would do another 2 points of damage here. You do another 2 points of damage against it, and you rolled. Sorry, what was that last die?
1.
Oh wait, did you not roll this time? Did
No,
you
I
roll
rolled.
You roll the exact same thing as well.
No. Last time I had a 2 on the modifier thing.
Sorry, you're right.
This
For a
time I
second,
had
I was
1.
like, no. All right. So you do as you bring your stalactite club down to it, you absolutely pulverize its skull, and it makes a wet splattering sound as it just sprays bug goo everywhere. You rupture some oil gland under it,
It's
and
like a
oil
goddamn Gallagher
seeps,
show.
right? Seeps out from it.
Sledge-o-matic.
As the oil seeps into the cracks in the floor, puffs of flame just jut up and it just engulfs the bug in flames. The other one makes another kind of deep undulating howl sound, and it's just driven towards you. It is going to charge towards Skrillex, and you see these large beak-like beaks clamping down towards you. So go ahead and roll your 3d6.
That's a 2, and a 5 in the last
2,
slot.
2, and 5, and you
Yep.
are the brute. So you're 2, 2.
Let me figure out if I'm doing this unarmed or with a weapon because I don't take any penalty for an unarmed attack.
So you have a short sword, and you also have
Mhm.
the dragon claw sword. It gives you a +1 to attack. Which weapon are you attacking with?
Dragon claw sword.
Fantastic. That is what you would need to hit. So you deftly move out of the charged attack that it makes, and you slash across its side. For you, that means that you are doing 2 damage to it.
As I do
Um,
that, I let go a festive huzzah because I dodged so nimbly.
absolutely, it echoes louder than you think in this space, and you're like, "Is that what my voice sounds like?" Um, and
My two
you,
lower hands golf clap.
what was your third
Yeah.
die roll?
That would have been the big one. That'd be a 5.
A 5. All right.
Yep.
Okay. Fantastic. All right, then it is your turn again, Skrillex.
I'm gonna finish it off. I'm gonna do a full on attack with that dragon sword, and let's see how I do. Well, let's see. That is a sorry. My first dice is very small. A 5, a 3, and a 3.
A 5, a 3, and a 3. So your attack hits and you dodge its retaliation. So you bring your sword back, and what is your tally ho like phrase that you say? Is you give another huzzah
Yes.
as
In
you
fact, that's what I say. Another huzzah.
and you make a nice cross cut across its thorax or abdomen. You're not sure whatever it is because it's thrashing around so much from the weight of your attacks. So you inflict another 2 points of damage, and it makes this very wet, throaty sound as you've ruptured something inside of it. It still is enraged and thrashing, but now it's like leaking oil and bug juice, and it is quite unhappy. Um, you think you hear over the sounds of this thing still alive and screaming. You feel like you were hearing the sounds of something rushing, like an avalanche or lots of footfalls or something coming from up the tunnel from where it came from. Uh, Top of the round.
So it's Lurger.
That is going to be Lurger. Wait, no. Yeah, Lurger.
You can just call him Lorgar Aurelian. I'm cool with it.
I mean,
The unfortunate son.
you can just call me Ori. I don't know.
I think we just stick with Lurger.
All right. So I've murder death killed one buggy boy.
Yep. And I warmed up number 2 for you, real nice.
Yeah. Mind if I cut in there? And
Not
by
at
cut
all.
in, I mean bash and fart. It's a 1 on attack, 5 on defense, 4 on the modifier.
But you're using your nimble still, right?
Yeah, I'm still in nimble. So
Well, 'cause
yeah.
you have a +2 to your 2-hit offense.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. So 3 to hit. I wasn't adding the things. I was just telling dice
That's
numbers.
why I try to do I have the character sheets up just to make sure you get all your benefits.
Well,
So
thank you, buddy.
you hit, and what was your defense roll?
5
5.
plus so 6.
I didn't even get to do its special attack. You can see as this thing has been gravely wounded by 2 resounding huzzas, it is beginning to bulge at the side of its beaks. Like you see, like its cheeks are beginning to fill out, and bright green slime starts to dribble from its mouth. And just when it's about to do something really bad, you just fucking cave in its head with
Nice.
a piece of a cave. Green
golf clapping.
slime splatters out of the mouth, and it smells very acrid, and it is very viscous and gross. The sounds of footfalls rushing down the tunnel are becoming more distinct and more loud.
I ready my arrow.
Yeah, do we want to just keep it going, or do we want to flee, or what?
I don't know
I
what it
mean,
is, so I want to see.
They might
Yeah.
be happy that we did this.
It was wounded.
Yeah. So we could do the whole like hide out and see what they do. Like just set the fire back a going.
I'd also like to point out that the one of them, when the first one, when you stove in its whatnot, it turns out that this slug oil is like highly flammable. So it could be that all this is just like environmental collision between like a upwelling of magma activity and a nest of these highly flammable slug things. It's a theory.
Well,
I don't know.
as you are standing here, contemplating what your options are, you see coming down of the tunnel is a whole gaggle of those terminates, but instead of the ones that you had talked to before, these are twisted and deformed, and they're wearing these terrible masks, and in the baleful light of the cracks of the ground, they have almost a demonic visage to them as
They
they
are
rush forward. One of them is like they're all brandishing various very wicked, cruel looking weapons. One of them is holding aloft a cone of that incense that just begins to fill the space with this intense scent of, well, a little bit of what was in your nostrils there earlier, but mushrooms and spice and herbs, and your eyes begin to water, and you feel yourselves beginning to get a little bit woozy. Real quickly, all of you make me a durability check.
Let's see. That's 13, and I'm sure that I've got a plus on that. So
You're fine.
yeah.
13.
13, 10. So none of you fully succumb to the effects of the incense, although Lurgerger, you start to get a little bit like you don't feel faint and you don't pass out, but you start to see swimming colors, and you swear you start seeing what looks like images of dark caves, blood red eyes, far too many limbs, and you hear some type of deep guttural laughter in your ears. The terminites that are rushing towards you in a high-pitched keening screech say, "For the king, under the hills, under the caverns," and they rush towards you. And that puts us at time. So
Okay. Perfect cliffhanger.
so
I
they
had
were
I had
called.
an idea
what's
that
your
would have
idea?
taken us a while to adjudicate. So I'm glad that we.
No, I want to know. What have you done?
Oh, so like I've got a bonus on kick in as one of my skills. Like if I'm kicking in a door or something, I get a bonus because I'm a bruiser. So I was gonna pull a Samson and see if I could pull down the roof of the tunnel that they're running down and like seal
Oh,
them back there.
Would have been cool.
Yeah, I like to try and think outside the box
well,
sometimes.
that using collapsing tunnels is something that's even kind of written in some of the rules to
Oh,
contain
really?
things.
Cool.
So that definitely could have been something to explore. But um, I was curious to see who would pass out, and then would this be at the hands of these cultists, and figure out what their
None of
motivations
us.
are.
We're
Hmm.
way too cool.
Yeah.
But
Honestly,
so
that incense of theirs is some pretty weak shit, brah.
I bet that see, that's what you need to do. Start your own cult, make your own incense.
Right as
You
the
put
screen
you
to
put
black, my character farts an insult.
Fade to fart. Love it.
Yeah,
fade to fart. That needs to
Weaklings.
be
Fart.
There's your episode name. Instead of
Same.
Wandering Monster Plays 3 die 6, it'll just be Wandering Monster Fade to Fart. No, that'll
It's
be our last episode.
it's like Bob's Burgers, but everyone was Gene.
I love Gene.
I really need to watch that show.
I think you would quite enjoy it. It's really
I think
good.
I would too. I think I have a lot in common with Linda. A lot in common.
It
with
has a
Linda.
lot of heart, that show, which is what I like about it. Like it's easy to do a mean adult cartoon,
Mhm.
and there are many of them I love, but to do one with like genuine heart, which
That's
is I
what I've
think what
heard.
people loved about The Simpsons is like, yeah, more difficult. So this is the
Trick.
section where we do our little 5-minute wrap up review type deedly bob of what we thought of the experience, right?
Yes, and before that, I'll say, because I just popped into the chat to see what's been happening. Trachea resubscribed again, so they're at tier 1, and they've subscribed for 2 months, currently on a 1-month streak. So
Thank you,
thank you so
Trachea.
much, Tim.
Yeah, so I loved this. I love being a bug. I love even more having multiple brains. I think that's a really cool dynamic. It kind of reminds me, like, not to get too into the weeds on like fiction I've read and stuff, but there was a very interesting Warhammer Necron duology that had like subminds inhabiting one Necron mind,
Huh.
and they were like hierarchically ranked, so the top mind could like allow or deny permission to lower minds depending on whether it was pissed at them or not based on their advice. So it'd be like, shut the fuck up, tactical. Okay, combat, you're back online. And like, I loved that. And this kind of feels like that. Like you can tell one brain, like, all right, you're fucking useless. Time to switch to you, clever brain. And yeah, kind of wish I had that ability in my day-to-day life. So very cool.
I liked the combat system. I wish I could have experienced it a little bit more. I picked out very special dice for this and didn't even get to really use it since I was an archer.
And that's the hard thing of having such a short little play window.
Yeah.
Yeah,
was
the
so
2 hour giveth and it taketh away.
Yeah.
I was so tempted to see if I couldn't shoehorn one of the cruelest creatures in here. I think is the Death Jacket, which are basically just what you expect from the name. So it's just like a giant evil wasp thing, and it's
Man, fuck yellow jackets to begin with.
Yeah,
So that's
yeah.
terrifying. I love it.
their to hit is 7+, and
Yeah,
their defend
yeah.
is
God
6+. So I'm like, that's gonna just myrtleize everyone, and
And
it
it'll
has a
probably
last
lay eggs
gasp,
in us and shit.
right?
Yeah.
I
But
feel like they would have been angry at me because I have a wasp stinger dagger, a wasp stinger dagger. So I basically have a piece of their butt.
if you
That's a cool
kill one of them,
weapon. Damn.
you kill some of these things, you get things based on their bodies.
Oh,
So
no
if you were to-
wonder John loves it.
yeah, if you
Monster
were to
hunter
kill
guy
the
that he is.
the
Yeah, so what did
fungoid-
we get? What did we get from
Awesome.
killing these
Yeah,
little
what did I get from
slugs.
Appa?
slorpers?
I'm gonna
Um,
take a beak. I'll take a beak.
You can collect
Just to chew on, though.
slorper spines, flexible and incredibly strong. These can be used to make +2 arrows.
Oh,
Or
shit.
slorper grease, valuable as an ingredient in some alchemy, trap making, or general lubrication. Worth 1 large gem.
That was actually. That was.
Paschke, I'll
that
get your
was-
thoughts in a second. I just have to make a
That
quick.
was the name of that was the name of the character I played in my military porn. Was General Lubrication.
I love it. When I was an RA in college, a resident assistant, if you will, there was someone, one of my residents, their like uncle or some relative of theirs worked for KY and did like fix their computer systems by helping write an algorithm. And as payment, they paid him a lifetime supply of KY jelly. And they were trying to get a 50-gallon drum of KY jelly to prank the dorms, and they couldn't get it delivered. So instead, they made a slip and slide using 4 gallons or 3 gallons of vegetable oil, which was
That's awesome.
worse. But anywho, Mr. Paschke, what were your thoughts?
One, I wish I hadn't come into this so ill prepared and frustrated with my machine.
It
'Cause
happens,
once-
man, yeah, that's a bummer. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's gonna happen eventually. It'll happen again somewhere down the road. Who knows when? But yeah, like once I got in the groove of everything, this was a lot of fun. I really want to play this again for that reason, and because John loves this game so much that like I want to know what it's like. I want to play it with him.
Yeah, yeah.
And and there's like so many like not many people got to use their special abilities yet, or no one got to die to do like a last gasp because the combat. We avoided some. But if you have time to do a longer campaign where you actually get to do your cocooning and physically change your body, it gets to be really cool with it's almost like Lemmings, in a way, or other things where you select your special units.
Yeah, I was gonna dump everything into brain number 3, like all my damage until I killed it.
Me too, because it was my smart brain. And like I said, I like to imagine me as like jock brain holding up a nerd brain to take the damage,
So that puts us in announcements. What announcements do you have to share with the world?
Like from the Madness Heart side of things, we are very pleased that pre-orders are open for Plays Hauntologies. It's a new collection of Ben, our, I think I'm saying his name right, Arzate's like plays and works for the stage, which is like he's published some of them before, but this is his first collection of full length collection of works for the stage. We're very excited to present that. We've got Shade of Grey, the third Zev novel, out right now. You can find all of this at madnessheart.press, or just go to our main mothership Twitter at MHP_horror. You can also find anything for us at Wandering Monster at wanmoncast.com. That includes reviews, including my recent review of Stein Hansen's Abhorrent 6, which was hella fun. It's live on Kickstarter now. It's sort of it's Hateful Eight, but with a lot of like crazy shit thrown in that I think you'll very much enjoy, and I don't want to spoil for you.
A lucid bossy cock.
Yes, elusive bossy cock. Ian's been helping with some translation issues between Swiss German and English, because cock doesn't mean quite the same thing in English as the dictionary says it does. I mean, technically it does, but yeah.
I love that.
Bossy cocks. Yeah.
I suggest as editing. I'm like, did you want this to be a slur, like like a slang
double
word here?
entendre? Yeah.
And there's like I was like, maybe you should change it to rooster. And he goes, never. And his comments have been like, but I can see like edit accepted. I mean, because I love it.
That's
I love
beautiful.
it. English is such a like.
Yeah.
If you're not an English native speaker, boy, our language has got pitfalls. So
Yeah.
I am
sure
impressed
does.
by anyone that can master the English language, not
Yeah.
not having braised in it. My goodness, I love it.
If anyone can, it would be Stein. He did a great job with his Western
Absolutely.
aesthetic and that, and living in the West like almost my entire life, I found a lot to love in it. So check out that review on onemoncast.com. You can also find all of our socials, services that are offered, such as game editing, all of the different shit that John does, which is nigh limitless at this point. I'll come and be a birthday party clown for you, like not for money. I'll just do it. Just tell me time, place, I'll be there. Don't even worry about it. I'll just show up. And
Keep that in mind.
good, yeah. And that's
Yeah.
about it, I think.
I was also going to put a plug in for the Aberrant 6. I just posted the link, and like Charles said, that is also on our website. Not only do you, when you pledge, you can get the Aberrant 6 in either PDF or print form, you also can get a copy of Babylon's Hangover, which was one of the early bestiaries for Morkborg. So really cool art in there as well. Definitely a lot of fun with the module. So Stein really knocked it out of the park. I won't have any spoilers other than there is a section that has there's a potato cellar in the module, and that's my favorite part of it. That is
I love that. Yeah,
that is, I love it. It just, every time I go back and do editing, I'm like, I just really love this.
If you it's like it's the back rooms of potato cellars. That's all
Yes.
I'll say. Yeah, and I think that's it.
Just another couple of small quick plugs here before time. The other large zine duology Kickstarter that I'm working on is Worldbreakers / Dark Tides of Zaratos, which is a 5e and OSE compatible zine series. And by zine, like it's 3 of one zine, 3 of another. You can pledge at different levels to get up to 6 different zines to either help you destroy your campaign or help you build a new one in a Dark Waters like campaign setting. There's 90 minutes left, so if you are one of those procrastinating wait to the last minute people, now is definitely a super good time to back it. Link is also in the chat. And lastly, putting in a plug saying Sundered Sundries, our Kickstarter that we are writing material for, successfully funded. So
yep, all the way. So
All
we,
right.
we're gonna have I'm gonna have a genuine game writing credit on my resume.
Absolutely. So we're gonna have to put our noggins together, huff some
Yeah.
spores, and get to it.
Two
Get it,
further
if you
thank
will.
yous. First of all, to our very special guest, I would like to say that you are welcome on anytime as
Yes.
a replacement host, and that's
I made
actually
it.
yes, and that is a relief because it means that one by one we can start taking days off every now and then. Maybe I don't know. Who knows?
I can't. I'm chained to the desk here, and John threatens me with a giant maul anytime I say. No, I'm just kidding.
He only does that to people he really cares about. That's his sexiest
That makes
look.
sense.
Threatening
me.
you at the mall, like that's.
Oh,
You'll get there.
I'll
You'll get
threaten
there.
you.
I know he's
Um,
already like collecting your beard trimmings and toenail trimmings, Paschke. So you're on your way. You're almost
Yeah.
there.
Oh, okay.
all right.
You're
I
special.
was wondering where they were going because I've been saving them. If you
He
want it
messaged
more,
me. He messaged me and was like, "Hey, could you collect those for me?" And I was like, "I got you, fam."
Well, unless there's any further announcements.
don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe
Yes.
because you know the termites with their bots have been downvoting our videos, and if you don't upvote it, Jeff Bezos will.
He's gonna kill one of us, like live
yeah.
on air.
Why do you think John wasn't here? Bezos attacked.
He did. He brought Nurgle into the equation. He issued a bioweapon, and I'm sure some of that's legally actionable. I don't know. Come at me, Bezos. I don't give a fuck anymore. Ready to die. It's all
Second
good.
man. Then with that, thank you so much for joining us on this consensual journey that we call Wandering Monster. I have been a mound full of bugs, Ian Servas.
I was a big old bruiser of a bug named Charles R. Bernard.
You go.
I
the
always go last.
guest. Okay.
Ugh.
I've been Jenny Paschke. You can find me at Energetic Jen most places, and I played Riska.
I've been Mr. Paschke playing and don't forget Jenny sometimes streams herself and
The chaos.
she might do that tomorrow. I don't know if she's up for it or not.
The plan is to oil paint tomorrow. I miss it.
Neat.
It's not done yet.
Cool.
Yeah, super talented. Well, thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next week. Same bat channel, same bat time.